Firstly, I'd like to apologise from our Cabinet Secretary for the Environment and Rural Affairs, Leslie Griffiths, who was unable to be here today. As I'm sure you're aware, there's a great deal to do following on from the referendum, so you've got me. I've been asked to speak today about designated landscapes, well-being and opportunities to create a strong future. So what I'm proposing to do is to give you a little bit of background on our designated landscapes in Wales, say then a little bit about Welsh legislation, Ruth touched on that earlier, and what designated landscapes want and could achieve, and link this to the work that we're currently doing with quite a few stakeholders in the room today. So I'm then going to focus on our journey so far and share with you some of our interim recommendations that are coming out, and then leave plenty of time for a discussion chaired by David. So firstly, what designated landscapes do we actually have in Wales? For those of you that don't know, I'm sure most of you know, we have a number of AONBs. We have the Llian AONB, the Clwydian AONB, the Anglesey AONB, Gower, Dee Valley, and national parks for Pembrokeshire Coast, Snowdonia, and the Brecon Beacons. These AONBs and national parks together are an integral part of Wales's national identity, and they're actually recognised internationally as part of a global family of protected areas. And they actually cover over 25% of Wales. We also, of course, have many other designations, be they urban or heritage sites, which are actually also very important to the Welsh public. So why are we considering a case for change in Wales? One of our previous ministers commissioned what was called the Marsden Review, an independent commission conducted by Cardiff University, and the purpose of it was to review and consider the future of our designated landscapes. The focus was on its ambition to have designated landscapes which are living landscapes, with vibrant rural communities and having extensive opportunities for outdoor recreation, thriving ecosystems, and really rich biodiversity, something that previous speakers have already referred to today. The report was actually published in the summer of 2015, and there was a whole number of recommendations, 69 in total, which were presented to the previous minister, covering a range of key areas. Now, before I say any more about the recommendations, I just wanted to touch on something about the new opportunities Welsh ministers were taking to develop what we're calling born and made in Wales legislation. Ruth mentioned it earlier, but we have got some key pieces of legislation that have now been developed. The first piece is what's called the new Environment Act for Wales 2016. It's focused on sustainable management of our natural resources and creating resilience. We'll perhaps have a debate about resilience later. But it's also focused about delivering economic, social and wider environmental benefits for Wales through what we're hoping to do in having area-based plans. Secondly, we have another new piece of legislation which links perfectly into the conference today, the Wellbeing and Future Generations Act 2015. Now this actually is a key piece of legislation which puts a duty, and that's the difference, it puts a duty on our public bodies to think more about the long term, working better with people and communities, and this applies as much to Welsh Government, to our agencies like Natural Resources Wales, and of course to our national parks, as we develop and implement policy. The Act puts a duty on public bodies in relation to 7 well-being goals. These goals are a globally responsible Wales, a prosperous Wales impacting on the economy, jobs and growth, a Wales of vibrant culture and thriving language, a Wales of cohesive communities, a more socially equal Wales, a healthier Wales, and a resilient Wales. So in our work on designated landscapes, we have to deliver against all these goals. So what happened next? In October 2015, the then Minister for Natural Resources decided to set up a Future Landscapes Wales programme with a working group involving a wide range of stakeholders from industry, conservation bodies, health professionals, and embark on a new process with an appointed, and dare I say, charismatic chair from a different political party, Lord David Ellis-Thomas, a Plaid Cymru Assembly member. His ask from the Minister was to work with the group on a development programme involving stakeholders and Welsh Government officials to consider those 69 recommendations I mentioned earlier. So obviously involved a degree of synthesis to consider the impact and opportunities also that the new legislation that we've just mentioned might bring to designated landscapes, and embracing the cultural differences, not just within Wales, but also across that family of designated landscapes. It's therefore a process that government relinquished control in, and getting the stakeholders to design and shape their own identity so they learn and bring about change together. This is opposed to our more traditional governance in saying to the national parks and AONB, this is what you must do for your money, get on with it. So, independent facilitators were appointed to help us on the various stages of the journey and to keep us on track, and that has been incredibly valuable so far. So, how do we feel the process has been? What does it feel like? It's been powerful, engaging and forward-looking process. Not always easy, as people have, and still have, a great diversity of views, and everybody came from a diverse range of organisations with a very different set of visions and backgrounds, but there was a great willingness to be open, to be frank, and to see the world from everybody else's perspectives. There was recognition that we were all on this journey together. So what are the emerging recommendations so far? And I'll share a few with you. All the key stakeholders recognised that they actually need to develop a common vision and purpose that they all buy into. This fits in with the new Welsh approach to delivering on sustainable development. They also recognise that we might need further legislative reform to help enable our designated landscapes to deliver their ambition and that new shared vision. We really need to engage the public more, nationally and locally just as important, in what they really value and want to see from our designated landscapes, and in what we feel and what the public feel are important jewels in the crowns of their local designated landscapes. This relationship, which was referred to again earlier, between people and places has to be and must be in the future a key theme. So it's not only that beautiful mountain or seascape that matters. People have very, very deep feelings and values for some local sites and places. And this ranges from one individual tree right through to an urban park, and all these places matter. There's been common interest so far in developing a set of principles that should be produced to help our designated landscapes deliver their shared outcomes, associated with the way that they work together and encompassing some shared values. Such principles can be applied to what's special about any place, whether designated or not. This could be an old quarry or a mining site in an urban area, just as well as our Llyn AONB. So the principles must and should embrace the sustainable management of our natural resources in ways which link the opportunities associated with our well-being goals that I referred to earlier. Other feelings are that a more flexible approach to governance needs to be brought in, and delivery structures which is needed. And this must be innovative, reflecting distinctive qualities of our landscape, and balance between those local and national interests. This has to deliver across both our designated landscapes and, just as important, those non-designated areas as well. The model must have a diverse and resilient resourcing mix, embracing payments for ecosystem services, natural capital as the DEFRA Minister tends to refer to it, but ultimately improving performance for the public. Some other thoughts: that designated landscapes provide that real opportunity to focus on objectives of the whole of our Welsh Cabinet, not just one minister, making a difference in tackling poverty, the economy, health issues, as Ruth referred to earlier, such as obesity, where we can develop things like woodland gyms as an example, and in tackling that massive issue of air quality and links to asthma. We need innovation, delivering and creating jobs, and new approaches for nurturing entrepreneurs and providing local training and business development. Tata Steel has shown us that we need diverse and resilient businesses in local areas, both rural and urban. So there is an opportunity also to build on the educational links with schools and the curriculum, be it making mud pies, as Ruth said earlier. But children have to have that deeper understanding of why their natural environment is so relevant to their life and that long-term well-being. So these recommendations will evolve in the next few weeks, working with all our groups and facilitators, and we will support, the group will support David Ellis-Thomas as he goes back to our Cabinet Secretary later this summer, giving both short and long-term recommendations that are both practical and forward-looking. So finally, a few thoughts. The government is committed, this government in Wales is committed to delivering more, better jobs for Wales, with a stronger and fairer economy, with improved and reformed services, and achieving consistency in delivery across all of our public services. Our aim is to work together in Wales and internationally to secure opportunities for all and to build a united, connected and sustainable country. Designated landscapes are integral to Wales's national identity. They have a new and emerging role to play in taking forward that dynamic vision for a sustainable Wales. By working together, protected landscapes are pivotal in building this united, connected Wales, where people want to live and work, and really importantly, visit. And this applies equally to our rural and to our urban areas, and within and outside our designated landscapes. Our ambition is the process, and this journey we have embarked upon will put our designated landscapes in a unique position as leaders, catalysts for development, innovation, and demonstrating best practice in Wales and the wider world. Having that resilient future to deliver for all of the Cabinet and for the people of Wales. I wish you a very successful conference. Thank you very much.